welcome back.
Welcome back.
I can't believe it's season 2. We're really doing it.
Yeah.
We are. It feels like it's been forever, and also 2 minutes.
We also see each other quite regularly.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since we've been in this space. And actually, we've never been in this space because Kasey moved over the summer. So our podcast studio also moved.
Yeah, that's right. Brand new house, brand new podcast studio. We got it set up about 5 minutes ago.
Do we submit like complaints or changes? Or?
There were pillows that used to be here. They're not here anymore.
I will be taking no feedback on the podcast studio.
I mean, I love that.
On us overhauling your office weekly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the space.
Absolutely.
Let us know when we need to start paying rent. So it has been a while. We took the summer off, but obviously our individual journeys, our like health wellness journeys, and our friendship has continued throughout. So we thought we'd take a little bit of time in this first episode to kind of catch up and see what everyone's been up to and kind of where we're at with everything right now.
Do you guys want me to go first since I have the most exciting story?
Absolutely.
Allie, what did I say to you? You said something on your stories recently. You were downplaying something, and I DM'd you, and I was like, I'm angry at you downplaying.
I got so many. I got like
so popular.
I got like 4 responses to it. That feels like a lot for me.
Telling you to stop being so mean to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel like you're doing with your summer update.
It wasn't to stop being mean to myself. It was like, oh, don't downplay that. Yeah, one of them was my coach. One was you.
Oh, I think it was being able to deadlift your body weight.
Yeah, almost. Not quite.
Almost.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So for our listeners who don't know what you're talking about, let's take a step back. When we wrapped at the end of last year, you were mostly doing home-based workouts, but that has changed over the summer. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I think since we last recorded, I've tried a couple new things. So yeah, home-based workouts to start. And then I was getting kind of like bored, wanted something new. So I joined ClassPass because Lisa is
Love me some ClassPass.
Yeah, she's a ClassPass, walking ClassPass ad. And I did like it. I tried a lot of things, but I landed on sort of Barry's, which is like a boot camp style workout, Orange Theory, which I think a lot of people know about, and then F45. And
you did each one for like a week, right? Like you did, or how did you do it?
You guys know I don't have any structure, so who really knows? No, I did F45. I think I did for like 2 or 3 weeks without really doing anything else.
That's a lot.
Yeah, Orange Theory I probably did for, I don't know, a week or 2 exclusively, maybe a week, I don't know. And then Berries I did for probably 2 or 3 weeks as well, like 2 weeks exclusively berries and then another week like sprinkled in there. But I liked it a lot, but the problem was for me, among other things, I was going to spend like $300 a month to be able to take the amount of classes that I wanted to, because those studios are expensive and they're like on ClassPass, they're expensive in, I don't know, points or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And so I looked into joining Berries in particular, like through just Berries. I don't know. I was like, I liked it, but I felt like it was very intense to be the only workout that I was going to be doing every day or regularly.
I feel that. I did it once with you, and I'll never do it again.
But I mean, I love the workout. I love the atmosphere. The problem was this like $300 a month charge. I'm like, I think I could get a lot more out of this. And also in DC, there are 2 Berries in this area, and they're both about a 20-minute drive from me.
That's too much for me.
Yeah. And I got nervous about being locked in to like their schedule. And this was before I also started a new job on our break, and this was before that, and I'm glad that I had come to that decision before starting a new job, because there is literally no way I could have made those classes work in my schedule. So we can talk about it a little bit more, but I've made a couple more changes since then. So I started working with a coach.
Okay, before we go on to that, I do want to get your thoughts on this, because I feel like this is sometimes hotly debated in the fitness community about whether those kinds of classes actually will give you the results that people think they're going to give them. And I'm curious, for you, having done 3 different ones and like, you know, done it enough to sort of see what this could be like, what do you think about that?
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I'm not an expert, so everyone should know that first. I don't think that if you have specific goals, those types of classes are going to get you where you need to be. They're not made for you, right?
Do you mean specific, like, physical physique kind of goals? Like, I want to grow my booty, or I want to, like, get a 6-pack of abs.
Absolutely.
Got it.
I don't think they're specific enough. And I think most of those are, if you were going to them 7 days a week, that's how the programming is written. But most people are not. I was not.
I can't imagine that, because I feel a little differently about F45, because I know with F45, I think they do, I think like, I could be wrong, but I think it's something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is cardio, Tuesday, Thursday is strength training.
They have structure, yeah.
One's a hybrid. What, like, they do.
Totally.
They switch it up so you are getting full body, but like Orange Theory.
Right, but what if you only go 3 times a week or twice a week? You have to be in their schedule.
Right, and that doesn't seem realistic. And the Orange Theory and the berries are, like you said, they're so intense. I personally like to think I have a fairly decent level of physical fitness at this stage of my life. There's no way I could sustain a daily berries class. Like, it's just, you can't compare, I don't think.
My boss, my old boss, who I'm friends with, he has done like a streak of like 500 berries classes or something. It's crazy.
That's bananas.
And I used to say that to him, like, how do you do that? Like, when do you recover?
But I should say, I don't know how Orange Theory works and how they switch it up. Berries does switch it up too, right? I did one thing, but the guy was telling us, like, if you come on this day, we focus on this. But I think no matter what day you come, at some point you're sprinting on a treadmill, and that's where you've lost me.
Yeah, I like that part, because there's no way I'd be sprinting on a treadmill otherwise. But yeah, I don't know. I just think for the goals, I think it's great for like general fitness, and that's kind of what I was looking for. To be honest, I don't have like specific physique goals, for the most part, or any goals, which is my problem. But I just think, it's, if you just want to stay active or whatever, it's great. The other thing I think is like kind of that I didn't love about those classes is like I have like a general, I think I'm pretty strong at like form. I spent time in college lifting with a coach. I did CrossFit at a gym, which was like hyper focused on form and like avoiding injury and all of that stuff. And so I feel like I understand most of the lifts. When I went into, maybe I shouldn't say the name of it, I went into one of those 3 places, and I saw people doing things that they would definitely hurt themselves. And there was no intervention whatsoever. And there was an activity, I think one of the exercises was like push-ups with your feet on like a Swedish ball or like Bosu ball. I don't know if that's the same thing. And I could do exactly 1/2 of that. And I can do push-ups now. Like, it's not, and I was not the least capable person in the room, I would say. And there was no modification given for that exercise. And
weird.
I was just like, oh, I'll hold a plank with my feet on this ball because that's challenging enough for me.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to know what it is when I say this, but you're doing this for a total of like maybe 1 minute. And so the trainer came by and was like, great modification. That's great, or something. And I'm like, cool, but that's like what you should have told everyone. I feel like,
right.
Fitness
at every level.
Right. And I feel confident making that modification, but like, what if I didn't and I struggled through because I wasn't sure what to do and hurt myself like that? So anyway, I can't say that I think they're the best, especially for people in our community who like may be new to working out and fitness, or may not be confident that their form is exactly the way it, what it should be. Or if you have like intimidation for going to the gym or whatever, because if you're someone that's going to like fight through in order to not, we talked about like walk during berries. I walk all the time when it's sprinting and I feel like I'm going to fall because I'm not getting rug burn on this mug, but there are, if
not
you,
the moneymaker.
No, but if you felt like you had to sprint to keep up with everybody else, or like look at what your neighbor was doing. And I feel like that happens a lot in our community.
That's me. That was literally me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't recommend it for that then, because you could and most likely will hurt yourself. And what's that worth? Like, we're not trying to do anything crazy. We just want to stay active.
Yeah, for sure. As an aside, I feel like I used to do that a lot more when I was heavier because I felt like I needed to prove to other people, like, oh, I can do this even though I'm fat. I'm not walking because I'm fat. Now I'm like, I'm not running because I don't want to.
No, absolutely.
That thought doesn't even cross my mind anymore. It's like
what's that like? No, I definitely still had it. Also, Allie is a lot taller than me and has longer legs. And I just remember when we were sprinting, feeling like Allie was this gazelle with her long legs, and I was this little like, like
wow, I am honored. Thank you.
Well, I can't imagine sprinting because I was trying to do some speed work recently. With running, not recently because I haven't run in a long time, but when I was, and I ran a like 10-minute mile, and I was like, I'm flying. I have never been faster.
Guys.
Can the cars even see me? I'm going by them so fast. So what is sprinting like? I don't know.
I'm just a blur next to this car.
When they tell you too in Barry's, they're like, okay, it's 7 to 9. And I'm like, cool, so 5?
Yeah, they do that in Orange Theory a little bit too, but I think I could be wrong about this. Do you remember? You did Orange Theory before.
Yeah.
They give you like a card. There's like a card on the treadmill, like not a physical one, but you can press a button and see like it's almost like a rate card or something. It has like
it's a range for like your like base pace, your push pace, and your all out pace.
So they don't say it out loud, but they'll say like push or all out, and that means different for like a walker, a jogger,
and then I just automatically subtracted like 1.5
minimum
for all of those things.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, the gym intimidation thing to me is not like totally gone. I still have moments where like the day that I walked at Barry's and I told you about, I definitely had thoughts about it. I chose to walk still, and I like then felt really good about making that choice for myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment I was like, I wonder if they think I'm just like not able to keep up. But I literally like tripped as I was starting to run. I'm like, I'm not doing that today. Like, or
walking to me is the lesser of two evils. If you're gonna walk or fall running, like,
well, that's kind of where I got
than everyone see me fall.
That's kind of where I got.
Yeah. So I think those classes, my general takeaway from this is that those classes are great if that's what's going to get you to work out, right? If that's what you need to show up and do some physical activity, that's great. But the payoff for the amount of time that you spend may not be what you think it's going to be.
Totally.
Well, for me, the thing about, because guys, I do want ClassPass to sponsor us, so let's not knock it too much. I think for me, what I like is that it's the variety. I don't do ClassPass to take a Barry's class 5 days a week. I do it so I can take, well, I'm not taking Barry's, but no offense, unless you guys want to sponsor us too, and then I'll try it again.
Then we love you.
Yeah, you're the best.
I'll drive the 20 minutes. It's fine.
I do it for the variety. Because sometimes I want that. I need variety because I get bored really easily, and I need to know someone else is counting on me to show up and that I'm being charged if I don't show up. Because you're talking about gym intimidation. Confession, I have literally not strength trained in a gym on my own a single time since I have had bariatric surgery.
I hadn't done it a single time until 4 weeks ago.
Really?
Nuh-uh. Oh, because you did it at home.
Mm-hmm. And even in college, like I never in my life, not even since surgery, I never in my life had trained in a gym.
I would go do the elliptical or the treadmill, but that was literally it. I still to this day have not, if it hasn't been a class.
What I'm hearing is,
oh God,
I'm better.
Where's Carolyn?
No, I'm joking because like I'm the least active of the three of us for sure. Like I'm the least
think that's true.
Fitness oriented.
Didn't you just post like, here's my 7 workouts in a 7-day period?
Yeah, but like some of those workouts were a bike ride and gardening.
Why
and
are you downplaying your workouts?
I'm just anyway.
Yeah, wait. Somebody message Kasey and tell her not to downplay her success. Wait, but you also spend a lot of time doing those things because walking, like when we were training for that whatever race, you were like, oh, I just walked 8 or 9 miles or whatever. It's like a 3.5 hour workout. Imagine doing that.
No, yeah, I walked for 2 hours and 20 minutes because that was the time limit of the race, and I wanted to see how far I could walk in it.
It's a lot of working, sis.
Yeah. I have one more thing to say.
Okay,
just one
about those classes.
Oh yeah, please.
The atmosphere wasn't doing it for me.
In any of them?
Not in Barry's. I love the atmosphere there, as you know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Thanks for asking. I hated the atmosphere at F45. I could not get through it. It is so bright. Fluorescent lighting. The music was good, but not loud enough. There was nobody screaming. I couldn't do it. I need the lights to be changing, and I need it to be dark, and I need somebody yelling I need my watch to tell me the noise is too loud.
Have you guys ever done, I hear you. I would like for you to come just one time just to see if it's different because I'm curious to the one by me.
Yeah, I've had a lot of recommendations to try other F45s because the one I went to, I think.
Because it is pretty great music and they're not screaming, but they're like, let's go, you got this, 20 more seconds. Like they're encouraging and it's like it feels...
What I've heard is it was the instructors, trainers, I don't know, at the place that I went.
Yeah,
I did only try one F45 studio.
Yeah, that's not for me. I don't need anyone yelling at me.
I know, but they were like encouraging.
I don't like to even sweat when I work out, so I'll pass on that. Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do this. Then.
No, but I think you do need variety. Like even as much as I love bar, I don't think going to bar, only doing bar is going to allow me to meet all of my fitness goals.
Well, I think it goes back to what your goals are, because I think if your goals are really like physique oriented, then you're probably better off lifting in a gym and like maybe walking. Honestly.
Totally.
But I think for a lot of people, it's just like, I know I want to get stronger. I want to be fitter overall, and I don't know what to do. So those classes are really appealing because it's like show up and they tell you what to do. Whereas like, trying to show up by yourself to a gym and be like, I don't know, what's this machine? Never saw that before. Yeah. That's hard. But Allie, I did want to talk about what you're doing now, because I think that's a really good alternative if you are looking for more of like physique goals. Yeah. What you're doing now is you're working with a coach. So
who helped me figure out my goals. So I'm working with Rob at My Weight is History, Rob. And his company is called Busy Bariatrics. And I am totally underutilizing what he's offering. And I'm hopeful that we can have him on to chat at some point later in the season, because he will definitely articulate what he does much better than I will. But the fitness side of it, which is like really what I'm focused on, has been really interesting, and it's completely virtual, which was new for me too. Like having a virtual coach, I had no idea what to expect there. But basically, Rob is writing workouts for me that I then take and do in a Planet Fitness. And literally up until like 6 days ago, that's what I had been doing. So I guess 4 weeks, I think in this cycle, I've been going into a Planet Fitness on my own. Again, like the lifting on my own in a gym. And I've definitely started to see like some real changes and improvements from like trying to lift heavier, I think, which is not something that I've been able to do at home. And then I mentioned I started a new job. And so the time out of the house for me has been getting to be a little much. So what was really cool, and one thing I've appreciated about working with a coach like this, is that I called Rob and said, like, I can't spend time out of the house at a gym. And again, I don't know, 6 days ago or whatever, when I texted you guys about it, he had like wrote me a completely new plan to work out at home. I have some homework. I need to buy some heavier weights, because I noticed in my first leg workout, he commented, and well, that was one of the reasons I wanted to get out of the house, is because like my equipment was limiting. And
you know what we have? They were Bill's. They're not mine.
I saw that.
It's like the adjustable weight ones, and I think they go all the way up to like 55 or something like that.
That would be more than enough for me. But he commented on one of my workouts and was like, so is 20 the highest weight we have? And I'm like, yeah. So I definitely need to just invest, which I think I knew before, but I was like, oh, maybe it'll be fun to try or whatever. And it was. And I think at some point I will move back into the gym, but having the little kids at home and being gone from like, I work out at 5:30, right? Yeah. So I'm up at 5, I'm out of the house by like maybe 5:40 at the latest, and then I'm gone. And because it's a new job, I'm gone late, and then I get home and they're asleep. So like I wanted to have the breakfast time with them back. Yeah. And so it was really great, because I didn't have to like go through and find like a new program or figure out what to do. It was just like, I need help adjusting this, and he did it. So I will absolutely stop there and let him tell us more later in the season.
I think that's awesome. And that's one thing I haven't ever really thought about with a coach, because I think Rob is fantastic, but you see coaches all the time on social media, right? Like every other person you find is like selling coaching services. And I don't think I ever really understood the value in it necessarily until you mentioned this scenario where you're like, my life has shifted. I need I need my workout plan to also shift, and you have someone who's like kind of built in, ready to like make that
Yeah,
change for you.
well,
And I think that's awesome.
You guys know I was like very skeptical of this because
Yeah,
Lisa,
yeah.
you asked when I was like, guys, I think I'm going to work with Rob. You were like, well, what's changed? Because I don't like the online coaching. I didn't like the online coaching thing because I do still feel like this is not Rob or anyone in particular. I guess I don't think I could name anyone off the top of my head anyway. I don't like this like online life coaching, fitness coaching, all wrapped into one with no credentials. I just think that's dangerous. And I think people in our community get preyed upon by that sort of thing a lot.
It's a vulnerable community.
Yeah. But I do think Rob is certified with the fitness side, but also in nutrition. And I think there's a ton of things that people have learned from him on that side. I just haven't taken advantage of it. But the certifications, I guess, are the point to me where like, I can't support just like you being a coach because you lost weight. I think it's crazy.
No, I think
there need to be more qualifications.
And I think Rob has done it right, where he's like taken his experience and then said like, I want to help people. Let me go get the right certifications and then do it.
Kasey, you were saying it's great that a program and a coach like that exists to mold to Allie's schedule. I also want to highlight the fact that like, I think the most incredible part is that you advocated for yourself and you were like, this isn't working. I need to find something that is going to work for me. I feel like a lot of times there's like excuses that I just think you are like the poster child for like, if you want to make it work, you'll make it work. Like you found like, hey, these are my priorities and this is what I can't give up. This is what I need back. And like finding a way that meets your goals and also allows you to fill your cup in the ways that are important to you.
Because the working out for me is the mental stuff. It's the mental payoff. And with not being able to see the girls, and I really was and am still, I think, struggling mentally with that a lot. Yeah. And I need the like emotional release of working out. So I knew it was a non-negotiable for me. And actually, when I asked him about switching this program, I had said like, can we pause until maybe October or something? And he was great about it. Yes, whatever. And then he's like, just promise me like you'll still do 3 lifts and 3 Peloton workouts or whatever a week. And I was like, yeah, that's the motivation is not an issue right now.
That's
getting
so
it done is not an issue. But like my lifts are like 20 minutes. Yeah, they're not long. And even shorter now that I don't have to like wait for a piece of equipment in the gym. I noticed this morning, I'm plowing through these babies. But yeah, so he was like very accommodating to that, but I was like, yeah, the motivation is not an issue. And he's like, oh, well, I can write like barbell workouts for home. So it just kind of like happened. It wasn't like I asked him, like, I need you to write me something for home. I didn't even know he did that. But again, that's like the beauty of having a person. Yeah. But anyway, all right. I don't know. That's enough about me.
Does that mean I should not sign up for the Daily Burn app? Because
I voted yes.
I know you were the first vote.
Wait, there's a vote?
Well, honestly,
get on Instagram, Allie.
I voted yes because I would vote yes for anything that gets you to release your reliance on your personal trainer.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. He doesn't know it yet, but
well, he will now because he's definitely listening.
He's not listening.
Don't do that. He's listening. Now that he realizes he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's so expensive, and I can't justify all of those expenses. And yeah, I got like T-Mobile does this thing, T-Mobile Tuesdays for T-Mobile customers, and they do deals every week. And this week, one of the deals was 6 months of Daily Burn premium subscription for a total of $8.99.
Wait, I have T-Mobile too. Are they sponsoring us?
I'm sorry, $8.99, and you put up a poll.
How much did your nails cost?
All right, so let's segue into how Lisa's doing. Yeah. All right, Lisa. So what has been going on in your life these last couple of months?
What's been going on with me? I scheduled my plastic surgery over the summer.
That's so exciting.
So that's really exciting. And actually, maybe I can talk a little bit about like what I'm getting and why, because it has changed a little bit. Originally, my plan was to get an upper thigh lift, which my surgeon was like, I don't really want that to be your first one because it's less gratifying. And I think like we had Laura on last season. She talked about that. Like results with thigh lifts are typically not as gratifying. And I didn't care. I was like, yeah, I don't care. My legs, we've talked about this. Like, I'm self-conscious. I am wearing shorts right now because I'm working on it.
Yeah.
They look good, too.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you. But I knew that was important to me. And then my plan was to do my breast lift and my tummy tuck together as a secondary surgery. And then I was going through all the paperwork that the surgeon had sent me, and he had mentioned in his email to me that he wouldn't do my tummy with my legs, but he would do my breasts with my legs. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, actually, you know what? The tummy tuck, after listening to you, Kasey, talk about your recovery with tummy tuck, I was like, and I'm a wimp. I am like a slow healer, and I do not have a high pain tolerance. And I was like, maybe when I do my tummy tuck, it should be the only thing. Maybe there should be no other incisions at play. So I did actually decide to do the breast lift and the upper thigh lift together, and to have the tummy tuck be the solo surgery. That'll be secondary, hopefully, in the spring. So that is right now scheduled for November 15th.
That is
so
wild.
I'm very,
exciting.
very excited. And you know, it was quite a few months from my consult to when I decided to book the surgery. And so once I booked and I decided to add the breast lift, I wanted a follow-up consult with him just because I wanted some reassurance of like, talk to me about doing both. Like, what's the extra time in the OR? What's the extra risk? But when I had the follow-up consult with him and asking all the questions, he was going back through his notes and he was like, so I see here in my notes from last time, you were wanting to lose an additional 10 pounds. How's that going?
Why would he ask a hateful question?
Jail time.
Yeah. Straight to jail.
No.
Okay, so he asked how that
Yeah, he was like, how's the, how's that going? And when he asked me that, I realized not only did I not lose 10 pounds, I think maybe I lost 3, but I more so gained about 10 pounds. That was really challenging for me to have that realization.
So you lost 3.
So when I had my initial consult, I want to say I weighed about 150.
Okay.
And I had gotten down to 147.
Got it.
And at the time of reconvening with him, I was 157.
Got it. Okay.
So I was 7 pounds up from when I'd had the consult, but 10 overall from my lowest. And it was definitely a moment for me of like, I don't want to call it a wake up call. It wasn't like this horrible thing, but it was just like an awareness I didn't have prior that was like, oh, what's happening here? Like, what are we
all
doing?
Those numbers start to like bleed together. Remember earlier we were talking about this and I'm like, I don't know when I weighed whatever. I just remember that at some point I saw whatever on the thing, but yeah, having it in that like on a paper,
like
with
somebody
the same
else
doctor,
noted
and
it.
he was like, listen, he's like, I don't want you too skinny because I need your body to heal and I need you to have some meat on your bones. And he's like, I think you're perfectly fine the way that you are. I don't really care what you do. But he said, gain, lose, stay the same, whatever you do, I need you to stop 6 weeks before your surgery date because I can't have your body eating away at itself when it needs to be healing certain areas. So I started kind of looking at what I had been doing and how I had been living and eating. And I think one of the biggest things I realized was that in the earlier part of this year, we were all training for a 10-mile race. And I was fueling for training for a 10-mile race. And I had drastically increased my carb count for the day. And I think what happened is the race came and went. And that carb amount did not decrease. Mm-hmm. Like I continued to eat. There's just too many calories coming from carbs. And nobody needs a gluten-free dessert every single day. Like
that's debatable, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be gluten-free, but I need something.
Well, sure, something. But I found that I was like, oh, it's gluten-free, I'll buy it. Oh, it's like just eating full-on, desserts and things that were just like, I think there was one time I came here and I was like, I just spent $30 at the gluten-free bakery. I got us all kinds of stuff.
Ted Lasso biscuits were so good.
They were so good. Everything was so good. That lemon bar, are you kidding me? I think sometimes it's I don't know if you guys experience this. This is kind of something that I've like learned in therapy. She's back talking about therapy. Welcome back. The novelty of something, that when it's novel, it's like, oh wait, a lemon bar? Lemon bars are never gluten-free. I have to get it because I can't that there's this thing of when it feels scarce or feels like whatever it's like, but it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't mean that I need to buy it just because it's gluten-free. And then actually it was brought to my attention that I am socially drinking more often than I was before, which was challenging to hear, and was not wrong. I realized that like I went from a place of never feeling like I needed a drink, like other people would be drinking, and I like, no, I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like I get drunk so fast. I feel awful. Like it's unpredictable. I'm out. And I don't know what switched, or if it was just like being further out from surgery that like I could have a cocktail and enjoy it. And like it did feel good. And like I didn't have to drink that much to like feel drunk and like have a good time. And then I started a new job and I was in the city a lot more again. And I was doing more happy hours after work and catching up with people and doing work trips, and they're always like wining and dining, and we're having cocktails at dinner. And I found out that I love espresso martinis, and I was having a lot of them, you know, it happens to the best of us.
It really does.
So yeah, just definitely like so anyway, one of the biggest things I started working on this summer was like, I think we kind of all had an Operation Get It Together Girl moment in our own ways, but that was mine. The realization of like, oh no, you wanted to be in the best shape possible going into surgery, and you're not making choices that are going to get you to that goal. And so I've done a little bit of I'm tracking my food again have a better awareness. Okay. Yes.
Like, and I know that every day.
I didn't yesterday, but I did Sunday and Saturday, and I think Friday, and I did today so far, and I'll log our dinner. I made dinner for everybody tonight. Thank you very much.
Delicious.
I'm tracking again, and I'm meeting with Kim this week to kind of realign. I asked her for new macros and new things.
Kim is Lisa's dietitian.
Kim is my dietitian at Active Bariatric on Instagram. She's been a huge help. I started working with her when we were training for the race because I was worried about fueling properly because I had never run like that before. And just didn't know what that looked like. And she's been incredibly helpful. And now we're kind of taking another look at macros and like what is needed to get down. Ultimately, I don't even need, really what I would love is to be back to 147. I don't need to be any lower than that. I just wanted to get back to that. And it's a not great reason. It's still like 150 is the most I can weigh and have a healthy BMI. If I am 150.1, I'm classified as overweight. And one of the things I did, because I'm a big, like, check the facts. Like, I'm freaking out about this, but like, it could be muscle. Like, I know I work out, I do these things. So I got another DEXA scan. I got a body scan to see, because I had gotten one last November. So I got one a few weeks ago, and I have gained 2 pounds of muscle.
Which is great.
It's fantastic. I've also gained several pounds of fat. So that to me was like, okay, something needs to change here, because obviously, yes, you're working out and you're seeing that, but you shouldn't also be gaining fat. So like, where do we go from here?
I think it's interesting though, the way you talk about it, because it just is a reminder of like how easily life starts to creep in, and it's not like anything drastic changes overnight. And so it's easy to kind of go over several months or years, I would imagine, and like feel like you're doing exactly the same thing that you always have been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then be like, why am I gaining weight? But when you really stop to take stock of like, what have I been doing? It's like, yeah, I have been indulging in gluten-free bakery treats more often than not. And I've been drinking a lot more. But I think those things are so subtle that they creep in over time. And if you're not being vigilant, like those are the kinds of things that kind of get you back to where you started. And like, it's just a good reminder of why you have to kind of always stay on top of this.
Totally. And I think it's a fine line, at least for me, of like, well, what does balance look like? Is this balance or is this overindulgent? You know what I mean? Because you can trick yourself into thinking either thing.
This is a thing I want to chat about, the idea of balance and how ADHD or ADD like plays into that.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think that I see things the same way that you guys
do. Well, and I
do.
think balance is subjective, and it's based on, because that's what my therapist was like, maybe just cut back the drinking a little bit. Like, and I was like, but to what? And she's like, I don't know, whatever like feels right for you. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, what is acceptable? Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Is it like, I don't know. Because it's a subjective thing for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was.
I also think what's tough, and you and I talked about this recently on our way back from the boat trip. I think for people who have been chronically overweight or obese, I think your initial reaction to something like gaining weight or realizing from your DEXA scan that you've, put on several pounds of fat is to want to go to an extreme, to say, to cut back on, stop drinking altogether, start tracking every single morsel that goes into your mouth. And what's been tough, I think, for all of us to try to learn is like, how do you adjust and course correct when you need to without going to that extreme? And I think for me, that's kind of where the idea of balance comes in, where it's like how much of this is actually balance that I need in my life? Like the idea that you might cut out drinking entirely probably doesn't make sense for your life, right? But what does it mean to like have balance with drinking? We don't really know. So it's hard to hard to find that right course of action.
Yeah, like what's the level of Delulu? I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot. I'm like, I made this great healthy plan where I'm going to do this and this. I forgot all about the part where I was like, okay, I am a failure. Everything is awful. I've messed everything up. I was like, I'm 1,200 calories. I'm ramping up my cardio.
Were we being serious or were we being?
No, I was serious.
No, she was serious.
I was very serious.
But I get it because I still have, when I was dealing with my little bit of regain, like I had this thought of like, should I join Weight Watchers? Should I like start tracking points? And like, because that's just where my brain went because I don't know any different.
I didn't
right?
mean were we serious in like a judgy way? The way you were saying it, I thought you were being funny.
Oh, no, you're fine. I don't think you're judging me. You can judge me how you want.
Well, no, I 1,200 seems like I ate that at dinner tonight.
That's literally what my trainer, when I got the DEXA scan and then I had training immediately following, walked into training with my results and sobbed in my trainer's office and was like, help me make sense of these numbers and feel less awful about them. And he was like, cool, we're going to do a cut and this is how many grams of fat and this is your protein and we're going to do 1,200 calories a day. You can do 13 to 14 if you're doing cardio. And I panicked and immediately reached out to Kim and was like, please give me real advice because I can't.
Well, you
this
said
is terrifying.
last season that he was explicitly not supposed to touch your
Correct.
nutrition.
So I just but it's hard to hear that and like separate it.
Yeah.
But it was, and I even asked, cause I was like, well, I just need to get this extra 10 pounds off. So do I just buckle down for 6 weeks, 8 weeks and be super diligent? And I actually asked my therapist, I was like, can I just have that mindset? Can I just be super restrictive for like 8 weeks just to get back where I want to be and then go back into balance? And she was like, no, you can't.
It doesn't work that way.
That's not, it's going back into those old habits and it's reaffirming those old beliefs and that old way of thinking and that like diet mentality. Yeah. That it's like, there is a sustainable way to do this.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that I'm in a calorie deficit because I'm losing weight, but I'm also doing things like making sure there's more volume in my food and that there's more protein and just paying more attention and being more mindful and aware.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry that I just talked for so long, but I would say that's that I scheduled surgery and I'm kind of reevaluating some of those goals. And I think it's like one of those things, I think it's a good lesson in like, we're now like, maybe it's a question, like, are you ever really done? I'll be 2 years.
No.
I don't think so.
No, I'll be 2 years post-op in November and it's like goals can realign and change and that's okay. And like and Kasey, I know you've talked about this a lot too. And I super agree. You were saying like staying on top of it. That's why I still weigh almost every day. And I feel so strongly about that because if I hadn't been, that 10 pounds could and probably would have turned into 15 to 20. It would have taken me a while to realize it. And then it would have been a lot harder
I've been kind of bad about that. I need to get back on my weighing every day train.
Well, not necessarily. That's what I'm not here to preach and tell other people if you know that it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I'm like. I don't want you to feel like you have to. I just don't want to be shamed for. No, I think the awareness is really important and helps me stay on top of where I'm at. Just like to make sure, and it doesn't. I still check in, like if it's up a tiny bit, like okay, did I get enough sleep? Did I drink enough? Whatever. Did I eat out? Get sushi and have a lot of high sodium. Yeah. But if it's trending upward repeatedly over a period of time, that's data that I can then take and be like, okay, it's time to, something needs to change because this is trending upward. This isn't just like.
Do you guys enter your weight every day in an app?
Yep. Every single day. And I actually, it's called Happy Scale. It's my favorite app. Do you use that too? Happy Scale?
Well, no, I got the scale that you influenced and it has an app that, but I did order the body pod.
Oh, I love that one. So I had
this is the one with the handles.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I think I messaged you about that. I was thinking about that.
You texted us and I was like, I'm buying it.
with the tracking and like putting it in the Happy Scale app, you can see reports of months or years, and you can actually see where those trends are like real trends up or real trends down. And like, it's not just a little, blip on the radar, but you can actually start to see.
So it connects to your phone, or you actually enter this every morning?
So the Body Pod has its own app. Happy Scale is a separate app that I enter.
Wow, that is
like
diligence.
I just like it. I like the interface of the Happy Scale a little bit better.
I just do
It's
it.
smart.
I have an app like with Kim where I do all my food tracking.
Yeah.
So that also has a place where you can put your weight. So I put it in there because then she can see it too and see how we're doing. And
yeah.
That's smart.
yeah.
You're on Operation. Are you still on Operation Get It Together, girl, Kasey?
Well, Operation Get It Together Girl has been a success.
Woo! She got it together.
Wait, so you graduated?
It's like what we just talked about. Like you got to stay on top of it. You always have to be vigilant. But at the end of last season, I was dealing with a little bit of regain, and I was questioned about whether that was real regain or not. And
She's looking at me.
I remember that.
So
that was mind blowing for me.
I was up at the most, I was up like 7.8 pounds. So that was like kind of a
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we talk about how she's making it like it's a guess? Like, I don't know, around, but it's such a specific 7 point.
Well, okay, so that was
I didn't even catch that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It was like 7.63 to 7.82. So I guess if you had to put that right in the middle, it would be
but like that was like a post vacation kind of high. I would say on average it was probably about 5-6 pounds of regain. And I was questioned about whether that was actually real regain. So I did some math quickly.
Was that what you were doing earlier today?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be the equivalent of if you gained 8 pounds. No, 11 pounds right now for you. If you gained 11 pounds and if you gained 13 pounds.
How is that possible?
Wow.
That I would have to gain double of you. You don't weigh that much less than me.
7.8 pounds.
Oh, 7.8. Okay.
Yeah.
Versus 11.
Oh, well, 7.8 wasn't
It
real.
was like
it was 5,
10,
actually. So
10.78
what's the
or
math on
something
5
like that.
pounds? Because that's what you said was true.
Yeah, you said the
All right.
5
Well, I didn't
was
do
what's
that
real.
math.
First of all, I'm not gaining 13 pounds to make you happy. Okay.
Yeah. Imagine you get on the scale one day and you see 11 pounds higher than you are
I
now.
saw 10. That's what I've been seeing.
Well, okay.
And I was like, get together.
But in a short period of time, that would.
You're right.
me.
You're right. Fine. You're right.
I wanted to put it in perspective because I totally get it. If someone had said to me when I was 100 pounds heavier, like I gained 7 pounds, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah.
I didn't mean
Also,
it like that.
I mean,
it was a very short period of time. And so that's why I was like, is it truly fat or is it just water weight retention things that will easily flush out quickly?
I also just want to say, like, Kasey, we get it. You weigh less than us. If you want to just put that out, I don't think we need to keep telling people. They can see.
We know.
It's fine.
People have eyes.
They do. I'm still hiding the tags on my clothes for you. And
stop it. Okay, you both wear my clothes, so let's just cool our jets here.
No, I'm just joking. We give you a hard time, but it is serious.
Yeah, so I feel like that was actually legitimate regain. And then I also had a DEXA scan, and I was exactly the same weight that I was back in November, but I had lost 3 pounds of muscle and gained 3 pounds of fat. So obviously something wasn't going well. And yeah, so for me, I think Operation Get It Together Girl started with refocusing on my food and then also adding walking back in. I decided to start walking 15,000 steps a day.
That's insane to me.
I'm going to be so honest with you right now. Are you ready? Will we still be friends?
Yeah.
I was so mad when you did that.
Why?
Because I was worried that other people were going to think if they weren't walking 15,000 steps every single day, that they like weren't going to be good enough. Like that's what you had to do. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but hold on. She just put what I eat in a day cookie dough for dinner.
I know. It's balanced out. It's balanced out. And you did, but it was like, it was you did it. You did it. And it was amazing. And I'm so proud of you. I was worried about the 0 to 60 of like, okay, I'm going to do 15,000 steps every single day for 30 days was a big goal.
I didn't. I failed.
Oh, I do remember you saying, because it was right around when you guys moved.
Yeah.
And
So
you're like, I didn't do it yesterday. And that's just the way it is.
I posted on TikTok an update. I went back in my app and I looked, and I think I walked 15,000 steps like 18 or 19 of those 30 days. And then another like 7 or 8, I got at least 10 or 12,000. So I did get pretty close, but I definitely did not do it.
What I wasn't so much worried about other people, more so as I was worried about you feeling like if you didn't, that was like, oh man, to commit to that every single day for a whole month,
well,
like that's a big commitment.
I was an idiot and I said it before I actually did it. And then I did it the first time and I was like, what have I done?
Do you guys remember when I was going to run a 5K every week this year?
Oh, yeah.
So, same thing.
Yeah. So, but I do really, I can't overstate how good walking is for weight loss. And I think that was a huge part of it too. Like that really, really helped. Walking, even if I didn't get 15,000 steps every day, getting close to that was a lot. And I have actually kept up with that. I no longer walk 15,000 steps every day, but I do walk just about every single day. I've started walking with a weighted vest.
Rucking? Is that what they call it?
I've never heard that term before.
Rucking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were doing it at the retreat. I remember
Really?
Kayla, the dietitian,
Yeah,
I think,
that's where I found it.
and somebody else. They did the 5K. They were walking, but they were rucking.
Oh, wow.
They did
It's
it
supposed
with
to be
weighted
good for
vests.
your bone density, yeah. Why am I Canadian?
Oh.
All of a sudden. I think
Eh?
it's supposed to be really good for your bone density as a woman.
It's supposed to be good for a lot of things. And it is nice because it's interesting when I started that 15,000 steps a day challenge, the first couple of days were so hard, but it's amazing how quickly your endurance improves and like within probably.
I could never.
I'm laughing. I'm nodding in case he's
No,
shaking,
no,
or
I-
Allie's shaking.
I could never.
Like there got to a point where I was like, this 15,000 steps now feels easy, which is crazy because it was so hard at first. But the weighted vest is nice because it does add like an extra level of difficulty to the walks
Yeah.
that had kind of been lacking. But anyway, long story short, I think the big thing for me was nutrition, getting that in check. I had just like you, Lisa, I think it was like little things that like the, occasional drink changed into like every time we went out to dinner, I was getting a cocktail or a glass of wine or just, just had kind of slowly let go of some of those things. So reined that back in, started walking, got back down to my normal weight range, which feels good, but then got that DEXA scan and was like, okay, now I gotta like put muscle back on. So I have been doing strength training against my will, but we're doing it.
It's so funny to me. I literally can't imagine a world where I could walk 15,000 steps without it being like a total anomaly. But you're like, oh, I'm not the person that works out. And in my head, I'm like, that sounds like a freaking jail sentence.
But I will say, I do think the more you do something that, like, okay, for example, I just did a big hiking trip with my mom and there were hikes and I was looking at like the distance of what, like however far we had to go and being like, oh, it's only 3 miles. We could, like, that's an easy hike.
Well, to be clear, it's not the distance or the like challenge, it's the time.
Yeah.
I guess it just like 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh, that's a big hike. That'll be the only one I can do today. And now I was like, this is nothing. This will be our morning hike.
I think I've talked about this before, but I used to live like 3/4 of a mile from a metro stop, and I couldn't walk.
You would drive.
I would drive myself closer to the metro, and then today I went for like a 3.2 mile walk on my lunch break for funsies.
Right, that's what I mean.
Casual.
Or even like when I look at my watch to see how many steps do I have left to get to 10,000.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, that's just 2 miles. I can go walk 2 miles. Or I can go spend 30 minutes and knock this out.
Yeah.
So it is just once you do it and the perception changes.
One of the things I like about what you did too is like the nutrition first. That's always the key for me because I think we get stuck on like this. You have to work out and you have to fuel for your workouts because we don't know how to do it. And like most of us, I don't think do probably need to fuel for our workouts. We should fuel for our life and our goals.
Yeah.
And like most of us probably don't have, myself included, the need to fuel for my workouts daily. Like,
so, yeah. And I also think I had a tough time with this because when I first started working out, doing strength training, I didn't know what I was doing. So I hired a personal trainer. I was in the gym 3 times a week with a personal trainer, which is a lot. And like they push you hard. I was lifting heavy. I was lifting a lot. My appetite was so out of control that I ended up actually gaining weight during that time. I was building muscle. I could see muscle that I had never seen before, and that was cool, but I was looking bulkier because I just like could not figure out how to control my appetite with that level of working out. So I think part of this journey has also been finding like what's that balance of like being active and being fit and not being like lazy and sitting around all day, but also not going so hard that I can't keep my nutrition in check, because that's ultimately the most important.
Well, and I think too, like with my situation, is kind of proves that point. My workouts were still, I wasn't running, but I was still working out just as often. I was still in the gym or in classes and still personal training. But it's so cliche, but it's like you cannot run a bad diet.
No, guys,
Totally.
I did that at 300 pounds. Yeah. I worked out more at that point than I do today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You're right. Yeah. It's you got to focus on the nutrition first.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my big update for the weight loss journey. So now I am trying to build back some muscle. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I'm not going to go. No, I think I'm okay. But I do want to be stronger. I don't want to feel like, weak and frail.
I'm curious though. I fully support this, and I think it makes sense, right? We've talked about this, that like you stopped doing that training that you're doing, so it makes sense that your muscle mass went down.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate surprise to me.
Wait, I want to hear what you're going to say, because I have a thought on this, and I think it's the same thing as you were going to say.
I'm curious. You're saying you don't want to feel weak. Do you feel weak, or are you aware that you are weaker because of the numbers that you saw?
Yes, this was my thing. Is if you had never seen the DEXA
If you hadn't seen the DEXA scan, would you feel like you needed to build muscle?
I was aware. Like there are times where I can't even pull open a heavy door sometimes, and I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Guys, I couldn't open your refrigerator earlier, and that's important to me.
Valuable things in there.
Yeah. That is important. That's really important.
The squares in there.
The podcast studio is restocked, and I need access.
I don't know if this is going to come across well.
Let's hear it.
Oh, it's got to come now.
I do think I feel weaker, and I'd like to feel stronger. Yeah. I also have the unpopular belief that I have the kind of body type that puts on muscle really easily and can look really bulky really easily. And
why do you think that's unpopular?
Because people will always tell you like, oh, you're not going to get bulky.
Do you know anybody else that you feel like looks that way?
Yeah, I think Allie. Allie has, I told her in a text the other day,
yeah,
I was like, no
yeah.
offense, but like you and I can end up looking like linebackers if we're not careful.
And then she tried to backpedal,
and I was like,
quite a bit on that. And I was like, don't try to be nice to me now. You called me a linebacker. Don't do that.
Yeah, but you're beautiful.
And a linebacker.
A beautiful linebacker.
What did Lisa say? We don't say but, we say and. You're beautiful, your body looks like a linebacker.
Yeah. So, no, but I do think that's true for me. So I have to be a little bit, like, I'm trying to find the right balance of like, I want to be strong and I want to feel strong, but I also don't want to look bulky. So I don't know what that right balance is, but I wish it was just walking. Turns out it's not.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's like Allie, always disappointed that to have abs, you have to do abs.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
It's
another
so
time.
Sore.
Yeah. I think I saw abs like one time recently.
On your body?
I sent you guys a video.
Oh,
yeah, you did. And then I was trying to go in the mirror and do that little breath holding thing you did to try to find mine. They're still not there.
Oh, wait, I want to try it.
I was so excited, but I haven't seen them again. So,
I also want to just say, I think, I don't know if I said this incorrectly, but like, I think it's great, even if you didn't know before the DEXA scan that you had lost muscle mass, like that's why we have these tools.
Yeah, that's a
good
point.
I think it's like the weight thing. I agree with you, because I was thinking the exact same thing, Lisa. Like, if you hadn't had the DEXA scan, would you have noticed, Kasey? But like, I think it's great. Because it's like the scale. Like, then you get ahead of it before you're too frail to do something.
And the thing I loved about these DEXA scans is that, which I'm excited to get my body pod, because I think that'll help. It's that data. When the scale stopped moving and I stopped seeing these big changes, it was like, I need something else. My brain needs something to be able to measure. And those body scans accomplish that for me. They let me see progress in muscle growth when the scale is more.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it with the intention of like then building muscle in between the first and the second one. And then I didn't do anything. And then my Delulu brain was like, oh, but I'm fine.
Well, that's what you said, Lisa, right? Like you realized when you had the data to look back at, you realized.
Right. It was the scan that made me realize like, oh, yeah, I've been a little Delulu about thinking that these 3 espresso martinis are balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I was Delulu and thinking you can stop lifting weights for 8 months and not lose any muscle.
I don't.
Who would have thought?
I am so glad I am the only person in this room that's not delusional.
Yeah, right.
No, girl.
It's great. And I'm so even keel. And the salt and vinegar chips that I eat daily, I think will definitely agree. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's been my like big update. Also, I moved in with a man, and it is hard to control food in this environment.
I haven't lived with anyone since surgery. So I remember that being really hard in previous diets, like being in college or in my young 20s and being on Weight Watchers and whatever. And there's Doritos and all this crap for my roommates in the house.
He came downstairs recently and was like looking for something. And I was like, what are you looking for? And he's like, where'd those chips go? And I was like, oof, those are in the garbage.
Oh, the garbage or in your mouth?
In the garbage. Okay. And he's like, why? And I was like, I couldn't control myself around them, so I had to get rid of them. And he was like so upset about it, but I'm like, I can't. Like that was just.
Listen, now he knows that if he wants things like that in the house, he has to hide them, and you can't.
Wait, Corey would divorce me if I threw perfectly good chips in the trash. Like he'd be like, if you can't control yourself, I can't control myself. It's over. Oh my god.
Yeah. So the issue with those was that we didn't have room in a cabinet for them, so they were sitting out on the counter, and I was like, this is not going to work because I'm an out of sight, out of mind kind of person. Yeah. If I will forget that I have things like those M&Ms we had tonight, I only saw those because I went to go get ice, and I was like, I forgot these were in here, and so I pulled them out and ate them. But I haven't eaten them in days because I forgot that they were there.
You guys had them. I didn't have any because I don't eat chocolate.
Sure.
It's the biggest lie I've ever heard in my whole life.
Put the bag away.
I'm literally being smacked in the face by your Pinocchio nose right now.
I literally was like, are these frozen? Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's like something I've learned about myself.
Ever had frozen chocolate?
But I will say, so he has been understanding of that. Like, if you're going to have something that I don't want to indulge in, put it away. Like, I can't see it, and that's fine. And he's also been a little bit more focused on his health, too. So we've been eating much healthier.
Yeah.
We did have an interesting thing. So he's been cooking dinner for me most nights because I'm spoiled. And that. Normally it's like a really nice cut of meat and a veggie, which is perfect for me. But the other day he came home and he had, what did he have? It was like pre-made meals. We were really busy. We didn't have time to cook. So it was like one of those like, heat and eat kind of Wegman meals or whatever. Yeah. And it was baked ziti and some pasta and no protein on either one. And I was like, I feel so bad, but like, I don't think I can eat this for dinner. Like this isn't going to cut it. And he didn't know, like he just had no idea. And so that was like one of the few times we had to be like, okay, like I can eat anything. This is not how I eat.
I can have a little bit of this, but I need it to be protein forward.
Yeah, and he was like, okay, got it. Like, well, I'll make sure I have protein next time.
Aww,
yeah.
Sweet
I feel like there's so like, I don't know if it's just men or if it's people who don't struggle with their weight or whatever, but like the idea that like vegan or vegetarian is a really good option for you as a bariatric patient comes up so frequently. I feel like, oh, it's so light and easy. And it's like, well, actually it's not.
Actually, hard no.
Anyway,
Bill does that too. And he's like, I want to start eating healthy. I'm going to like do more vegetarian meals. I'm like, no.
Why does that equate healthy?
Yeah. I don't know. We talk about this at work all the time in restaurants. Like the word healthy when it comes to like restaurants or food, it just like blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because healthy is so different for everyone.
So subjective.
Yeah. So anyway. We've been learning how to like, make that work. And it's been going well. And I enjoy having dinner made for me every night.
I can imagine. All right. Well, now that we're all caught up, do we want to share a little bit about what's to come in season 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's going to do that?
Yeah, no, I'm so good at organization.
There's a note in my phone.
Guys, I think there were a couple. We talked about wanting Rob. We talked about wanting Kim.
Yeah, I think we might do an episode talking about maintenance.
Yep, absolutely.
And maybe we did talk a bit about our own personal regain, but maybe talking about regain in a broader sense.
Yep.
We have a chatting about her too on the schedule.
Yeah, we love the chatting about. We're also going to talk about mental health. I think that was something that was very highly requested that we didn't really touch on a lot last season. So I'm excited about that.
We all know that's my favorite. And like maybe chatting about some of those like newly post-op days, those like first 6 months.
Yeah, I think we are all sort of pretty deep into maintenance. It's easy to forget what it's like when you are pre-op or newly post-op, and so we want to revisit some of our experiences from that time and not tell anyone what to do because we're not medical professionals, but just kind of share some of our experiences and what worked for us and things like that. So we will definitely be talking about that.
Yeah, for sure. Excited about all of those things. And of course, if there's lots of exciting stuff to come, and if you have anything else that you want to hear about, always feel free to let us know.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you guys. And thank you for everyone who sends us messages and just tells us that how much you appreciate the podcast. It honestly means more than I think we can even explain. We love doing this, and it means the world knowing that it's impacting someone 100%. In a positive way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, we get to say for the first time in several months, if you want more, you can find us on Instagram at formerfatfriendpod, and you can find me at leaning into Lisa.
I'm on Instagram and TikTok at maintaining Kasey, and I think I might be on Facebook too.
Oh, fancy. Wait, are we supposed to do that?
I don't know where I am, but I'm at Allie's losing it _RNY.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye to the camera for the first time.